there are some white Americans that feel guilty for what their ancestors did, this and that. And the thing about it is, they shouldn't have to feel guilty. This is America.
Well, I'm waiting for Angela Rye and Simone Sanders of CNN ISIS News to report on Chicago homicides. There have been over 500 homicides in 2017, and those were stats back from April, so who knows what that number is now. But it's really sad to me. Sure, is it harder for some black people in this country? Absolutely. No one's trying to argue that. We're trying to argue the reasons. We're trying to get down to the bottom of it, and we're trying to point out that the people virtue signaling over this are trying to incite civil war and race bait you. They never talk about the CIA plan to end the family, which has hit the black home more than anything. They never talked about the MTV propaganda used to destroy black culture and make it all about being a gangster. And then now that's what you have, and that's what you see out on the streets. But nobody talks about that. It's all about white supremacy, even though it was George Washington and Thomas Jefferson that laid the foundations of independence and freedom, not just for us here in the West, but worldwide. That's why it's called the shot heard around the world. But they don't do their history research. They don't tell you anything about that. So we'll all be waiting for Angela Rye and Simone Sanders to report on the black-on-black murders going on in Chicago. But they won't do that because they can't virtue signal and they can't race base over that. So it's just really ironic that the people here, Simone Sanders, Angela Rye, the list goes on, that are telling you that you're a victim, telling black people you're a victim, putting them in that victim state, which then cripples them for life. So Angela Rye and Simone Sanders cripple black people for life, telling them they're a victim. And then they're the actual progenitors of the oppression of black people that they claim to be calling out and helping. So how do you like that? Angela Rye and Simone Sanders are oppressing black people by making them victims and becoming progenitors of the CIA agenda to end the family and to make black people reliant on welfare. So there's the truth that Angela Rye and Simone Sanders of ISIS, or excuse me, CNN, won't tell you. Now, here's a clip of CNN cutting off a black Trump supporter as he completely destroys their concept of white guilt.
Exactly how he operates and why he does what he does. He's playing 3D chess.
You know, I've seen some shirts here today, though. I think one shirt
CNN,
that said,
the Checkers
no
News
white
Network.
Guilt, things like that. I mean, there have been some messages that might not be that open to folks from diverse perspectives. I mean,
we've been reporting that Trump is racist. How are you liking him?
I agree with that. I actually just made a post about it on my page, did a video about it, is that there are some white Americans that feel guilty for what their ancestors did, this and that. And the thing about it is, they shouldn't have to feel guilty. This is America.
And then we're going to let them finish out the night. They are.
And just let me correct myself, Boris. That was actually Deontay
and then they
Johnson.
cut him off.
He's the founder of the Conservative Black Foundation. He was one of the many African-American speakers that spoke today at this rally. An effort by this group to show.
How is this possible? CNN told them Trump is racist. I can't believe it.
There's no doubt the majority of people that were here were certainly white, but we did see a cross-section of Americans. And the goal here was to get out of this situation peacefully, and they were able.
All right, now let's go again to a video of St. Louis protesters in the street chanting, "Stop killing us." This is part of the protest in St. Louis. This is outside the police headquarters. I believe that's in Clayton. The audio not so good on this. If you're a TV viewer at Infowars.com/show, you can see it. Of course, I'm from St. Louis. I've had friends that have been updating me on this situation. It's very sad. These are actually liberal friends, Democrat voters of mine that say this is tearing the country apart and they can't believe this is happening. So, but here's what you have. So the CNN reporters go out, they tell black people they're victims, but they don't really tell you what's going on. They virtue signal these people and make them victims, oppressing them more, and then send them out into the streets where then they're confronted by the police because they're acting violently, chanting to kill police. And then CNN takes that and again uses that to victimize black people. This is the propaganda circle that we're seeing from fake news. Don't go anywhere. More of the Alex Jones Show, including the complete collapse of the failed Emmys last night. I didn't watch them. I don't know what happened.
Survival Shield X2 Nascent Iodine. If you're interested in healthy thyroid, if you're interested in well-being, if you're interested in having a higher IQ, which this has been linked to, get your powerful Survival Shield X2 at InfoWarsStore.com.